You're listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks.
Here with John Hicks, I'm Jennifer Perry. Thanks so much for joining us this week. And if you want more information on John and the entire team at J. Hagan Capital, if you have a retirement question for us too, just reach out to us on the website at retirementsolutionradio.com. I want to see if you're actually physically seeing this here at the office, John. The media for years now has been telling us this baby boomer retirement surge was coming.
Oh, yeah.
And from 2008 to 2019, that retired population of people 55 and up grew by about 1 million retirees, new retirees every year. But in the past 2 years, that group has grown by 3.5 million. It seems like that pace is accelerating. Are you seeing that as people come through your doors?
Absolutely. I mean, and that's probably one of the crazier things. I know in the beginning intro of our show years ago, it used to say, there's 10,000 people every day hitting retirement age. Mm-hmm. And that statistic is very true. But what we've seen really since COVID and in the last couple of years, we've seen that almost double. We've seen so many people say, John, I am sick of working. Or, hey, my neighbor, my cubicle neighbor over here, he's calling it quits, man. He's a year younger than me. I'm 58. Can I do it too? And the crazy thing about that is, guys, many of us, we can. I'm seeing more, I'm going to say mid to late 50-year-olds who were just deciding, they made the realization, okay, in order for me to retire from what I'm currently doing, maybe I don't need $3 million. I kind of thought I did, or $2 million, whatever the number is. What they say is, hey, John, here's my expenses, and here's what I thought I needed. Can I actually retire in the next 6 months or a year? And we start doing the math. Because again, guys, a lot of the reasons that people don't retire before age 62 is because their Social Security hasn't started yet, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, a lot of people don't retire until 65 because of Medicare costs. They don't know if they can afford that extra health care costs. But when's the last time you actually ran the math on that? And that's what I'm finding out. A lot of people, it's not some arbitrary amount of money you need in your accounts. It's about having a game plan on making certain that if you do decide early to retire, you can just make sure that all the ends are met, that you can pay for that healthcare cost, and then you might decide that you just need a little bit of a break. You just need a mental sabbatical for maybe 3 to 6 months to find out what it is you'd rather be doing. And I think a lot of people kind of did that, and they just decided, I'm not going back. I don't need to have $1.5 million, because what I did is I take my $650,000 and potentially get the same income, have the same expenses, is when I thought I had to have $1.5 million to do that. Mm-hmm. And guys, that's very true sometimes. It really depends on what your outlook is. But I've seen more and more people do it, and here's what I'd say, guys. You can, if you have the right strategies. But if you have the wrong ones, and we do live a long life into our 90s plus, if inflation's going the way it is, guys, just be very careful. We could screw it up. So get a second fiduciary opinion and find out if you really can do it so that you can check off that retirement box maybe 3 or 4 years earlier and feel good doing it.
Radio host, financial advisor, and now author.
That's right.
Check out John's book, The Retirement Solution, on Amazon.com or get a free chapter now at retirementsolutionradio.com.
As we're looking at things like our 401ks and looking ahead to next year, John, apparently we can start contributing a little bit more here in 2022. Mm-hmm. Those limits set by the government are going up to $20,500 for our 401ks. That's a $1,000 increase over this year. Mm-hmm. Catch-up contributions, if you're 50 and up, they stay the same at $6,500.
Right.
This gets confusing when you're talking about contribution limits, income limits, etc. I mean, how do you just help people make the right decisions on where to save their money?
So guys, 401ks actually have a ton of problems, but the main thing is they force many of us to save money, and for that reason, I love them. We got to put our money away. At a minimum, whatever your company matches, guys, you got to save that because you need that company match. And we have no idea what inflation's going to do. If you're getting a dollar for dollar match, or heck, they're just going to match 3% of your salary, that might be some of the easiest money that we're ever going to make.
True, yeah.
So we need to take advantage of that. Now, having said that, I don't love the 401k structure very much because there's all kinds of hidden fees inside the suckers. They rarely offer really good options to beat dead money instead of having our money in bond funds. And often we have no idea what we're even paying. And so because of that, I don't really love it. But if you're under 59 and a half, It might be one of the only options we have. Now, so the thing that I would want to focus on is getting that money into that 401k as much as you can to get the matches. But then, as soon as we turn 59 and a half, I would really rather you take that money and roll it into your own self-directed IRA. You can pretty much do that anywhere. You can do it at Vanguard, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity. You want a really strong custodian because they're the ones who are going to let you get much better options for often much lower prices.
Nice.
Much
Okay.
lower. And I think that's always smart. So even though, in my opinion, the increases of what we can put into that 401k is pretty negligible.
Okay.
An extra $1,000, in a 401k and an IRAs, it doesn't even go up. The main thing is understanding where that money is parked. I like IRAs because it's an individual retirement account, IRA, which means you control it. Instead of that 401k, who controls that 401k? Well, your company or the 401k provider. You don't really control it that much.
Right.
And so I really want you to have control. So think about that and put as much money away as you can. And when you're 59 and a half, get that money where you can control it, control your fees, and control your future if you understand the right ways to do it.
And that typically kicks in at 59 and a half. Have you ever figured out, though, John, why the IRS set this at 59 and a half where you have some more of those options?
Sure, because they can. The craziest thing about the tax code is it doesn't have to make a dang bit of sense. All that we have to understand is how it's written. That's
Right.
why I believe in exploiting the tax code as much as possible, because it rarely makes sense. But by doing some things correctly, 59 and a half, 72, 70 and a half, 14 and 4 minutes. I don't know what they're going to do next. All I do know is that most of the politicians I'm aware of, I know why they got half years, because them suckers can't count when they get their shoes off their toes.
Thanks for listening. Want more from John? Find us online at retirementsolutionradio.com.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. J. Hagan Capital is a registered investment advisor. To find out if John Hicks is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Incorporated is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal advice. Annuity guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products and annuities offered through John Hicks. Kentucky Insurance License Number 998827.